As humanity's thirst for knowledge about the universe grows, the search for extraterrestrial life becomes a hot topic. Many scientists dedicate their lives to searching for signs of life within our solar system. In their search, they've found some fascinating clues that hint at the possibility of life on some of our neighboring planets. This is the Fudge Network, and in this story, we will talk about the exciting search for signs of extraterrestrial life in our very own solar system. Join us as we explore the latest discoveries and delve into the mysteries of the cosmos. Imagine a stationary world. It is ancient, around 4.5 billion years old. It is barely warmed by the sun's rays and covered with a thick layer of ice. This world is smaller than our moon but slightly larger than Pluto. It's called Europa. It's the sixth moon of Jupiter and one of the largest satellites in the solar system. But what's most interesting about this distant place? Life may exist on it. Astronomers consider Europa one of the most promising places in the solar system to search for new forms of life. And that's because there is a huge ocean of salty water on Europa, with a depth of 40 to 100 miles, hidden beneath an ice layer 10 to 19 miles thick but still potentially habitable. Astronomers claim that water erupts from cracks in the icy shell and ejects the contents of the ocean into space. Of course, it won't be easy to reach such depths in the search for life. On the other hand, scientists already have evidence that there are much smaller bodies of water that are likely located much closer to the surface of the Europa. They may be located less than half a mile beneath the ice. And there are two positive aspects to this news. Firstly, it increases the chances of the existence of life on Europa. And secondly, if it is true, future missions will have an easier time searching for these life forms. Interestingly, the new discovery about these small bodies of water was made possible thanks to pure luck. Scientist Riley Kohlberg, who leads the research, accidentally saw a presentation by his colleague. He showed a photograph of double ridges on the surface of Europa, and Kohlberg remembered seeing similar ridges on Earth. If such formations are rare on our planet, then there are many more of them on Europa. Subsequent research suggested that the ridges on Jupiter's moon may be the result of a specific cycle, similar to that on Earth. In this cycle, liquid water freezes and then thaws inside an icy shield that is a medium with fairly high pressure. This causes the icy shield to move upwards, creating a two-peak structure. At least that's how it happens on Earth. If similar processes exist on Europa, this could prove the existence of shallow water there. Of course, the temperature, pressure, and chemical composition on Europa are completely different. And scientists still do not know how the ice behaves there. Therefore, they cannot understand how deep or large the water pockets are, and how long they take to freeze. But it is clear that such a subsurface environment on Europa is likely to be protected from Jupiter's harsh radiation, increasing the chances of life existence. Now we can return to the fact that the ocean on Europa appears to be salty. The red stripes on the surface of the moon may have this color due to their chemical composition. They are most likely a frozen mixture of water and salts. This is quite unusual, as this composition does not match any known substance here on Earth. As for the yellow spots on the surface of Europa, they may be caused by the presence of sodium chloride. This substance is known to us as salt. Scientists have tried to recreate the conditions on Europa in the laboratory. They found that by combining water, table salt, low temperatures, and high pressure, a new type of solid crystal can be obtained. This substance can exist both on the bottom of Europa's ocean and on its surface, but other than this information, researchers have not been able to find out much else. We can only hope that answers to some of these questions will be found around 2030. That's when NASA's Europa Clipper mission is expected to reach Europa. The mission plans to make several close flybys and determine if any form of life can exist there. In the next couple of years, the European Space Agency's Jupiter Icy Moons Explorer, or JUICE for short, will also visit Europa. But Europa is not the only place in the solar system where life may exist or have existed. In 2003, the Mars Express spacecraft detected methane in the atmosphere of Mars. On our planet, most of this gas in the atmosphere is produced by living creatures, such as livestock digesting food. Scientists believe that methane existed in the Martian atmosphere for about 300 years. And in 2006, it almost completely disappeared. This happened 600 times faster than researchers had predicted. The question is, what or who produced this gas, and where did it go? Another Martian mystery is microbes that may be sleeping beneath the surface of Mars. There, they may have been able to escape cosmic radiation for millions of years. Scientists have simulated conditions on Mars in the laboratory to test whether this could be true. And they were amazed to discover that bacteria could have easily survived in such conditions for 280 million years. This means that if life existed on Mars, we could find evidence in the planet's depths by drilling into Martian soil. Currently, there is no running water on Mars, and cells or spores will simply dry up. In addition, the surface temperature is similar to that of dry ice. In other words, the planet's surface is frozen. And yet, 6 types of bacteria and fungi could inhabit underground on the red planet. The most likely of these species is called the Conan bacterium because of its tough character. Well, now let's move on to Venus. In 2020, scientists announced that something was found in its toxic atmosphere that could indicate the existence of life. Unfortunately, they had no evidence because they couldn't collect microbial samples or take pictures of extraterrestrial life. However, they claim to have found a chemical substance on Venus, phosphine, which is very important. If this gas is not formed as a result of unknown chemical processes, some microbial life may be involved. Phosphine consists of 3 hydrogen atoms and 1 phosphorus atom. This gas is toxic to any terrestrial life form that requires oxygen, including us humans. Phosphine can be found on our planet in places where there is little or no oxygen, such as swamps and bogs. It is formed by complex mixtures of bacteria living there. It can also be produced industrially. If you think about it, phosphine should not be in the atmosphere of Venus at all. To form this gas, a certain pressure, temperature, and a lot of hydrogen are needed. It would not be so surprising to find it on Saturn or Jupiter, known gas giants. But on Venus? Completely unexpected. Phosphine cannot be formed naturally on this planet. Or, more precisely, it can be formed in small amounts during volcanic eruptions, thunderstorms, mineral explosions on the surface, or when meteorites enter the atmosphere. But there cannot be as much of it as the astronomers have calculated, and this should have raised suspicion among scientists, but they were too happy with their discovery. Perhaps they believe that life may exist on Venus, but even if this gas was created by some mysterious organisms, there is still a big question of how they survived on Venus. On our planet, some microbes can thrive in an environment with up to 5% acidity, but no more. However, Venus's clouds are made up almost entirely of acid containing more than 90% sulfuric acid. In addition, Venus's atmosphere is 50 times drier than the driest places on our home planet, and indeed, in 2022, thanks to high-resolution telescopes, it was concluded that there is no phosphine in Venus's atmosphere. And if there was, then in very small amounts. So we need to search for signs of life further away from Earth. Will we ever find definitive proof of extraterrestrial life? Only time will tell, but the search continues, and with each passing day, we move one step closer to unlocking the secrets of the universe. If you found the video interesting, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Click the bell icon to stay updated on new videos, and feel free to leave your comments below.